Nobody else in this WNBA, now or in the past, has ever carried a league as she does. Nobody. Welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. Well, we are on the precipice of the WNBA All-Star Weekend, and Caitlin Clark, who received more votes for the All-Star Game than anyone else by far, and is also a captain, has released a statement. Now, it's something that people kind of figured after the injury against Connecticut, but it is now official. We're going to go over to X, to the Indiana Fever's page. A message from Caitlin Clark. I'm so excited for Indy to host the WNBA All-Star this weekend. I want to thank the Indianapolis Host Committee and all of the people that have put endless work in over the past year to put this event together. I know this will be the best All-Star yet. I'm incredibly sad and disappointed to say I can't participate in the three-point contest or the All-Star game. I have to rest my body. I will still be at Gainbridge Fieldhouse for all the action, and I'm looking forward to helping Sandy coach our team to a win. Can't wait to see you all there. Caitlin Clark. I saw on social media yesterday some people wondering, when will the official word come out about Caitlin Clark? We want to know who else will be playing in her stead and all of that. Well, now you know. Caitlin Clark has informed us that she cannot participate in the three-point shooting contest or the actual game. And she points out this has been in the works for the past year, and that she's sad, she's disappointed, and of course she would be. She's a competitor and she loves to have fun. And this is the All-Star game where you get to compete and have fun and do all these other things. Now, she did say, I'll still be there. I'll still be around. So she'll make the most of it. But how cool it would have been for her, I'm sure, to be in her second year, her second All-Star game, having all these votes, being the captain. It would have been great. And she let us know before that she was excited about it. But now there's sadness and there's disappointment. But I dare say that Caitlin is not just sad and disappointed because she cannot play in the game or do the shooting contest, although I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. I think she released a statement. She felt the need to release a statement because she recognizes how important she is to everything associated with the WNBA. Now, ESPN and other media outlets may not want to give her the credit she deserves. Her fellow colleagues in the WNBA may not want to give her the honor that she deserves, the credit she deserves. Some of them may be delusional about her impact. Caitlin Clark is not delusional about her impact. She recognizes that she brings the eyeballs, she brings the attention, that people have made plans, people have paid money. Now, I know if we're looking perhaps at the NBA, for example, remember when LeBron James backed out of the NBA All-Star Game last minute, kind of like, oh, well, unfortunately, you're not going to get to see me play. And that kind of thing. It just had a different feel to it. And some people were upset about it because they didn't really think it had to do with the injury and they thought that he should have told him sooner. There's that whole thing about it. Whatever. But it's different with Caitlin, I think, because she is the face of the league. People do show up to see her. People do spend money. The revenue helps the league. And it excites people, the young, the old, and she's aware of that. She walks humbly with it, I truly believe, but she takes that as a responsibility. Think back to when it was a post game. I don't know if it was preseason. I think it was preseason, but it might have been early in the season. And it was like a post game conference, press conference, and there was Stephanie White, and there was Caitlin Clark, and there was DeWanna Bonner. And a question came forth about pressure. And DeWanna Bonner said, "Well, I don't know where all this pressure is coming from because we haven't won anything yet." I did a video on that because that was her answer. And she said, "Well, Caitlin might have a different answer." And Caitlin did have a different answer. It was a whole different outlook. She didn't outright disagree with DeWanna Bonner, but her perspective is different because her status is different. Caitlin said, I recognize that there are people who want to see us play. I recognize that people show up to see us play. I recognize that there is a certain amount of pressure in terms of you want to put on a good show. You want to have people to get their money's worth. You want to do all those things. And as she and Stephanie White also said, pressure is a privilege. And Caitlin recognizes that there is a certain expectation, if you will, because of who she is. And she doesn't take that lightly. You can tell she takes that seriously. So yeah, she's sad because she's not going to get out there and be able to do what she wants to do. She's really worked hard on her game all around for her team, but also for moments like these where fans show up, where little girls show up, where old women show up, where men show up, where people who were never watching the game show up, and people who have been watching the game but have to admit we have never seen anything like this. They show up. And as humble as she is, she's not delusional. She knows that most of them probably, we dare say, show up to see her. And she wants to give them that. And that can be a lot of pressure on you, but it also can be a lot of excitement, not only for you, of course, but for the other people. And I think that's the bigger issue there with Caitlin. Do you all remember when Caitlin Clark had an opportunity to participate in the NBA All-Star festivities, the three-point shooting contest? And she said no. Adam Silver really wanted her participation. Caitlin said no. She addressed this just a few days ago. She said somebody had lied, and she used the word lied. Someone lied and said that she doesn't like to shoot off a rack. And she said, that's just not the case. She said, I said no because I wanted Indiana to be the first place that I participated in such an event. The loyalty to Indiana, where she plays, to the fans in Indiana, where she's so loved and supported. She truly wanted that to be the first place. So, yeah, her heart hurts because she wanted to do that for the fans, for you. Sometimes you can't predict certain things. And then of course the sadness of being injured again. You put in all this work in the off season. When you said I am now better prepared for what I have to face in my second year, because that first year was a doozy. And you come back in the second year, and as far as I'm concerned, it's doozier. I think that's a made up word. But it's not just about Caitlin. That statement, which she did not have to make, right? Indiana Fever could have made a statement. We already knew what was up. Just didn't have to make it. I think she felt like it's the least I can do for my fans to let them know from me. And I'm sure it hurt to have to release that. But they'll know from me. I really wish I could participate. The best I could do is just be there. And hey, I'll be helping Sandy Brondello coach our team. So I'm sure that Sandy will make it as fun as possible for Caitlin. And I'm sure Caitlin will have something to do with how things go, and she'll make the most of it. And she will in part because of you all. That means those of you who are there, especially, and those like myself who will be watching. But man, a lot of people are bummed because they really wanted to get a chance to see her in this all-star environment. And she's bummed. The physical stuff, of course, But that statement was about you all so that you understand that my heart was in it for you, to be there for you. And I think that's what separates her from so many. She really, I believe, feels that because nobody else can. Nobody else in this WNBA now or in the past has ever carried a league as she does. Nobody. She brought in the eyeballs, she brought in the multitudes. She's well aware of that. There are people, obviously, who have fans, people who like, these players, love these players either, but nobody has carried that weight of a league where all the media, all the fans, all of this to a large extent is because she's Caitlin Clark. She's changed the league. She's changed women's basketball. She's changed sports in general. And here is my message to those who are planning to be there and you're not so glad because, man, you've been planning this for months. You got your ticket, your plane ticket, your ticket for the All-Star activities, all this stuff. And man, Caitlin's not going to be there. And let me just say this. I remember the first ever WNBA All-Star Game. It was 1999, I believe. I was there in the building. The first ever WNBA All-Star Game. They didn't have one they didn't have it at the beginning. It waited a couple years. It was in Madison Square Garden. I was there. Whitney Houston herself sang the national anthem. It was amazing. The U.S. women's soccer team had just won the World Cup. Remember that? Brandy Chastain kicked that goal and then ripped off her jersey. Remember that picture that went around the world? They were in the building, the U.S. women's soccer team. And let me repeat, Whitney Houston sang the mess out of the national anthem. I remember the atmosphere in the place. I remember thinking, man, this is like a spiritual experience. I mean, it was, that might be hyperbole, but it really was charged. The atmosphere was charged. So Caitlin's not playing. She's not in the shooting contest. Remember, though, this is a moment to enjoy. And there are more activities now than there were back when I was at the first one. You're going to have a good time regardless. So it should be an interesting weekend with the various events taking place. And I hope to be going live for some of it, if not all of it. And I hope you will join me. And so I will catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.